Welcome my fellow weeaboos and video game enjoyers to my Dispatch Strength and Power tier list. In this video I'll be ranking the characters from the game Dispatch in terms of how powerful they are in a fight. Before I get started, I wanted to express how good of a game I thought this was. Not because it has amazing gameplay or anything, but the story and characters were phenomenal. The interactive story increases how invested you get into it. Not even just video games, but I think TV show or movie style things similar to this where you can choose different scenarios could be the future of entertainment. The actual game portion where you're playing as a dispatcher may not seem that exciting, but it can actually be pretty fun. Of course, the main draw to this is the story though, and I recommend anyone who hasn't played to try it out for themselves before watching this video. Now, my reformed normies turned weeaboos, let's call you my weeb team, I'm dispatching you to watch the rest of this list. The common criminal tier is for your average human. The Skittles gang are the perfect example of the characters who would go here. Injured Robert could still beat a single criminal if he takes them off guard with his broken arm. He can also put a beat down on rude reporters. The dispatcher tier is for characters on par with Robert Robertson in his prime. Robert can beat up your standard thugs fairly easily. He was tough enough to hold his own in the villain bar brawl and just barely managed to defeat the lizard villain, which is why that villain goes in this tier. The lizard villain was one-shot KO'd by Invisigal, which further proves he should be in this tier. Thumbstick and Robert double KO'd each other, so Thumbstick going right next to Robert seems appropriate. The low hero tier is for characters with decent superpowers that make them too much for any regular human to handle. Waterboy isn't very confident, but with his water powers he can take out groups of thugs. Royd is the behemoth of a man who is allegedly full natty, but somehow has Herculean strength. Strong enough to where Robert said he should consider joining the Z team, and he could easily take out Shroud's men, so I think he definitely makes it into this tier. He also managed to overpower Invisigal when he got his hands on her. Speaking of our Dami Mommy, Invisigal is an extremely skilled fighter who becomes even more dangerous with her ability to turn invisible. Despite being one of the physically weakest of the Z team, she's still able to fight alongside the rest of them. Lightning Struck had an extremely close fight with Invisigal twice, but Robert was Invisigal's guy in a chair, helping her by hacking things around her. Since it seemed like Lightning Struck would have won without Invisigal getting assistance, I put him a spot above her. Toxic is by far the strongest character in this tier, doing decently well against Mecha Man. His performance almost makes me want to put him in the mid-hero tier, but he gets easily beaten by both Punch Up and Flambe, which is why I kept him at the top of this tier. The other superpowered villains working under Shroud that helped Toxic fight Mecha Man should go around here as well, but they all seemed weaker than Toxic. The mid-hero tier is for strong superpowered characters that specialize in combat. Prism has light powers that can permanently blind people, create illusions, shoot light blasts, and block energy attacks. Malevola is a powerful Amazonian goddess, demon, that wields a sword and can teleport. The former fiend had Invisigal on the run when they got into a scuffle. Sonar is part man, part bat, and voiced by one of my favorite fellow YouTubers, Charlie. When transformed into bat mode, he becomes a true force to be reckoned with. In his hybrid form, he's much weaker and would probably be in the dispatcher or low hero tier. Coupe, also known as Coop, is an expert assassin. She can fly and shoot out piercing blades. Punch Up was given the power of 10 men at the expense of his height. This short king's signature move is going for the nether regions. Flambe is a hothead that can fly and shoot fire. He gave Mecha Man a real run for his money when they fought, definitely more so than Toxic did. Golem was able to tank Flambe's fire blast and tossed Punch Up like a sack of potatoes, so he should go above both of them. Armstrong got the better of Golem, Malevola, Invisigal, and Robert when fighting them one-on-one. It was only when the heroes worked together did they get the better of this insecure, small-armed freak. Chase can go 50 times faster than a normal man and could easily blitz everyone below him. Due to his old age, he can't really use his power anymore without dying. But in his prime when he was active as the hero track star, I believe he could probably take out everyone below him except maybe Golem due to how durable he is. The high hero tier is for the strongest heroes in the verse. Blonde Blazer can fly, has super strength, and can shoot energy beams. She has the highest starting stats of any of the heroes, and after Mecha Man seems to put in the most work against Shroud's mech. When confronting Shroud and all of his men, she could have taken about 32% of them out before going down. Shroud and either Sonar or Coupe would be included in that fight. Phenomaman gives me Omni-Man flashbacks. Why the hell did you pick Waterboy over me? Think, Robert! I'm arguably the strongest hero on the planet, basically this world's Superman. Waterboy spews water all over the place. He's the goddamn janitor! I brought up how Blonde Blazer has higher starting stats, but you only get to Dispatcher at the end of the game after you leveled up your other heroes, so it makes sense for her to be given higher starting stats. We know they can't actually be accurate to Phenomaman's as she starts with a higher mobility stat, but she admits Phenomaman flies faster than her. Phenomaman flying her around due to having superior speed, and the scene of him saving her leads me to believe narratively he's supposed to be above her. However, her energy beams could be enough to turn the tides of battle. I think a fight between these former lovers would be very close and could be argued either way. It's worth noting Phenomaman has shown he could fly to the moon and said he could fly to the sun and absorb all its energy to leave Earth in darkness. Mecha Man in his suit that Royd updated for him clearly performed the best against Shroud's mech, which is why I think he has to go above Blonde Blazer and Phenomaman. His original suit definitely seemed weaker, struggling severely with Flambe and even having a lot of trouble with Toxic and the other goons. So his initial suit would probably either be at the bottom of this tier or the top of the mid-hero tier. Both Sonar and Coupe with their augmentations from Shroud showed superiority over Mecha Man and Blonde Blazer, requiring the two heroes to work together to defeat them. Chase with the powers of Blonde Blazer, known as Star Blazer, is logically stronger than Mandy when you add in his power of super speed. He was the first hero to do considerable damage to Shroud's mech, so I think he's likely the strongest of them. That leaves only one character left. The S tier stands for Shroud. This spot represents him and his mech. Shroud's mech was even stronger than Mecha Man's, and his ability to know what's going to happen before it does makes him almost impossible to deal with. It took all of the Z team working together to win, and even then it wasn't looking good for them until Chase's Star Blazer showed up. Shroud on his own is still an extremely dangerous man due to his precognition, and he got the better of Invisigal. Coupe and Sonar also seemed afraid of him. However, in terms of raw strength, he's below Robert, as Robert's able to kill him once he gets his hands on him. This makes him very tricky to rank, especially since he never got into a proper fight. All I can tell you is he should at least be in the Dispatcher tier, and is at most in the mid-hero tier, as he was clearly afraid of engaging with Blonde Blazer in combat even with a bunch of backup. I mentioned the character stats before, and I just wanted to show a tier list made based on the starting combat stats for all of the characters. Only the Z team has official stats, I just filled in the rest based on the feats in the game. Due to reasons mentioned, I think the Blonde Blazer's score is inaccurate compared to the others. Since she has to be slower than Phenomenon but was given a mobility score 1 higher, all of her stats should be dropped by 1, if not 2. That's the end of my Dispatch Strength and Power tier list. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, let me know if you're on Team Invisigal or Blonde Blazer. If you liked the video, and of course you did, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on my future lists. Not doing that after seeing such a peak video would be some real villainous shit, and I would be forced to dispatch my weeb team to bring you to justice.